Pac and Andrade deliver a classic. Ruby Soho is in action. And for the second time in 2 days, Skyline Chili is buried. Find out my thoughts about this and much more on your AEW Rampage review for September 10th, 2021. What's going on, everyone? I go by the name of KBTHEMARK, co-host of the DMV podcast, and this is your AEW Rampage review for September 10th, 2021. If you haven't already, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Really help the channel grow. It was an amazing night of wrestling on both Friday Night SmackDown and AEW Rampage. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Pac versus Andrade El Idolo. And this was 2 thumbs up good. I had heard a lot of hype about this match. A lot of people were saying you're going to be surprised with what you see from Pac and Andrade. And I just kept asking myself, can it really be that good? I was not let down. The spots in here were crazy. The diving foot stomp to Pac, who was in a tree of woe on the outside. The German suplex. This match absolutely lived up to the billing. What I did not like was the god-awful, shitty ending that we got. Andrade's his assistant had a taser. I'm like, what is this? And then Chavo Guerrero hits Pac with an iPad, and that's how we got the finish. Definitely not a fan. The match was too good to have that type of shitty ending. To me, it's very destructive to the match. But it paid off when Andrade found out that Chavo did that, and he punched Chavo, and then Chavo gets destroyed by Pac and the Lucha Bros, the new AEW Tag Team Champions, the Lucha Bros. I like that we got Chavo out of the way. I didn't really like the fit with Andrade, but with Chavo Guerrero gone, Andrade is in need of a manager. Word out there is that his future father-in-law, the dirtiest player in the game, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, might be that manager. And let me tell you, if Ric Flair is going to be doing the talking for Andrade El Idolo, take my money. Tony Khan, however much you want for the next pay-per-view, I'm willing to pay it. Take my money. I am going to love seeing Ric Flair with Andrade El Idolo. He's going to make Andrade feel like the star that we all know he can be. Next up, we have a Tully Blanchard and Sting and Darby interview segment next. And this was good. It was just really used to build on Shawn Spears versus Darby Allin. I did like that Darby Allin called Shawn Spears a generic piece of shit. Shawn Spears does seem kind of create a wrestler and don't do any edits to him type of guy. So I definitely agree with you, Darby. Next up, we had 6 women tag team action next. Riho, Chris Statlander, and Ruby Soho versus Jamie Hayter, Reba. Next up, we have women's trios action next. Riho, Chris Statlander, and Ruby Soho versus Jamie Hayter, Rebel, and the Doctor, Britt Baker. The AEW Women's World Champion, the Doctor, Britt Baker, DMD. And this was good. This was good. It did exactly what it needed to do. get Ruby Soho some wins underneath her belt, so it just doesn't look like that she was catapulted straight to the top of the women's division. So I do like that, because AEW hasn't really pushed a WWE guy or a former WWE person to the moon like they did Ruby Soho. So I am glad that they are getting her wins underneath her belt. So the match against the Dr. Britt Baker actually makes sense, since wins and losses do matter in AEW. Main event time. Platinum Max Caster versus Brian Pillman Jr. And this was good. This was good. It was just used here to get a hometown pop. I love the fact that Brian Pillman Jr. got the win in his hometown. They don't do that in the other company. You always got to lose when you're at home. Got to get that heat. But we're not going to be back in that same place for about another 8 months. So why exactly are we trying to get that type of heat? Brian Pillman Jr. won with the flying clothesline, which was good. The Acclaim got the beat down, which brought out fellow Cincinnatian? Guess who would be Cincinnatian? Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley got the save. They got the hometown pop. It was just everything that it needed to be in the main event segment, or the main event time slot of AEW Rampage. But that is it, you guys. That is it for the review. If I had to give Dynamite a grade out of 5, since it's only 1 hour, I'm going to give it a 3. It was a solid show. The hour flew by. The in-ring action was great to decent. The trios women's match, it was good. The in-ring work needs to be better, but these women are learning. And that's what we like to see, constant improvement from the women's division. If I had to give my wrestler of the night, my wrestler of the night is going to go to Brian Pillman Jr. Got to give the boy the hometown pop in his hometown of Cincinnati. I'm glad that Tony Khan understands that when you are in a wrestler's hometown, it is just as important to you as it is to them. Well, that is it, you guys. That is it for the review. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. It'll really help the channel grow. Once again, I go by the name of KBTHEMARK, co-host of the DMV podcast, and we will see you soon.
I started with nothing and came out a king. I've been the one that's been ballin' for rings. It's been me and my team and we chasing the green. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free.